Multiplying and dividing fractions for lesson 4. Now we've already talked about adding and subtracting fractions, and let's take a look at example 1. Now in example 1 they want us to take 1/3 times 4/5. Now unlike adding and subtracting fractions where you have to find a common denominator, when you multiply and divide fractions you don't need to do that. So here, all we do is multiply across. So to multiply fractions, you multiply the numerators. You take 1 times 4 is 4. And you multiply the denominators. 3 times 5 is 15. And then we make sure it's in lowest terms. So we make sure we cannot divide the numerator and denominator by 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, or 10. So 4/15 is in lowest terms. Now in the past, you've probably worked with cross-canceling. And cross-canceling means you're checking a denominator and a numerator to see if you can divide them both by any number other than 1. Notice I cannot divide 3 and 4 by anything other than 1. So I cannot cross-cancel there, and nor can I cross-cancel with these. So since I cannot cross-cancel, that's an indication then that my final answer will be in simplest form. Now when you cross-cancel, it has to be a top number and bottom number. It has to be a numerator denominator. You know, you can't try to cross-cancel with 2 bottoms or 2 tops. Let's take an example 2. Now in example 2, now notice I can divide both 3 and 3 by 3. I can divide both those by 3, leaving 1. There's nothing I can divide 8 and 1 by other than 1, so now I'm ready to multiply across. And since I cross-canceled every place that I can cross-cancel, my answer is in lowest terms. In example 3, sometimes you can cross-cancel in more than one place. Now I can divide both these by 2. Here I can divide both these by 3. Multiply across, and my answer is 3/5. In example 4, the difference in this one is that you have more than 2 fractions. And the point I'm trying to make here is that, and I'm going to rewrite this problem again so I can show you a couple different ways, and it doesn't matter which way you do this as long as you do it correctly. So on the top one, now I can divide both 2 and 4 by 2. And let's see, is there any place else? Yeah, I could divide both the 6 and the 4 by 2. Let's see, 4 divided by 2 is 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3. But also, notice now, I can then divide these 2's by 2. Now, remember, when you cross-cancel, you have to divide both numbers by the same number. And also, notice here, that even though you cross-canceled once, you can cross-cancel again. Now, I don't see any place else that I can cross-cancel, so multiply the top numbers. 1 times 1 times 3 times 1 is 3. And in the bottom, I have 5 times 7, or 1 times 5 times 7 times 1 is 35. So 3/35. If I've cross-canceled every place, that is in lowest terms. Now, on the bottom one, you could, instead of starting with a 2 and 4, well, I could divide both 2 and 6 by 2. And then you could divide both the 4's by 4. And looks like that is it. So multiply across, and you get the same answer of 3/35. Now, multiplying mixed numbers. Now, in mixed numbers, when you have to change them to improper fractions. So let's see, 3½ would be 7/2 times 11/4. Now, is there any place I can cross-cancel here? No, the answer is no. So you have 77/8. Now, let's change that back to a mixed number. And remember, to change an improper to a mixed number, it's always top divided by bottom. So let's see, 9 is 72. So 9 and 5/8 is my product or my answer. Example 6. Now let's get into the division. Now how do you divide fractions? Well, the first number stays the same. You change the division to multiplication, but remember now that you have to take the reciprocal of the number that follows the division sign. It's always the reciprocal of the number that follows the division sign. So I flip that around. Now, since it's multiplication, now this is where you check to see if you can cross cancel. Notice there is no place I can cross cancel, so I have 5/12. Example 7, as with multiplying mixed numbers, when you divide mixed numbers, you have to change them to impropers. So 3½ is 7/2 divided by 11/4. Now convert it to a multiplication problem. Remember, it's always the number that follows the division sign that you take the reciprocal of. I can now cross cancel since it's multiplication, and I get 14/11. Now change it back to a mixed number, top divided by bottom. So 1 and 3/11. And I'm just checking my calculation here to make sure that is correct. So it looks like we're okay with that. All right, final example, example 8. A little different one because you have a mixture of multiplication and division. Now when you have all multiplication and division, you have to go in order. So what I would do here is you're going to take 3 1/4 times 1/2 first. You're going to do this first. So I have, let's see, 13/4 times 1/2, which is, cannot cross cancel, 13/8. Now, I'm going to leave that as 13/8 because how do you divide mixed numbers? Well, you change them to improper. So this is always already an improper. So I'm going to take 13/8 divided by 7/3 because that's what that converts to, which is 13/8 times 3/7. And what do we get? Nothing. I can cross cancel. And let's see, 39/56. So, our topic was multiplying and dividing fractions, and it is part of lesson 4.